how can you prosper from the statewide housing crisis? Are you in an area that's going to do really, really well? Can you buy in an area that's going to do really, really well? Is it going to get rezoned? We're going to talk about that today with what's happening in the parliament at the moment.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Mr. Fortune Teller, share with me your wisdom and fortune.
Well, it's pretty obvious we need more houses, and there's a lack of places to put them. So
Yes.
I want everyone today to put their thinking caps on to think, okay, well, where's the logical place that government's going to rezone or change to accommodate for more housing in Sydney?
Yeah.
And how can one monetize from that? Can they buy in these areas? Where are these areas? Should they not sell in these areas if they are in these areas? So it's a really, really important thing to consider at the moment with people rezoning, because government's going to do it. And there's been talk in media about it, certainly in the big talk in the last couple of weeks, in the last week in the media about it in particular, that we're going to talk about this morning.
Yeah. Well, there's certainly no denying we are in a bit of a housing crisis. You can't build more land, but you certainly can build up. And I think rezoning has been a long time coming. It's been overlooked for the last decade at least. And it's about time that the government has gotten together to really put their own thinking caps on to help solve what is such a huge issue that's widespread across Sydney and the nation.
So what people should know is, I remember the G20 10, 15 years ago, the global property leaders got together and talked about, inner city dwelling and outer city dwelling and stuff like that. And what you should know is it's much, much cheaper for a government to allow higher density than to build land.
Yes.
So the reason why is land is like a corkscrew. So when it gets developed, it goes out, further out, further out, further out, further out like a corkscrew. And the problem with land is when you're corkscrewing out another hospital, another school, more roads, more shopping centres, the intensity needed to build new schools, new hospitals, and the capital needed is massive. So what world leaders prefer to do, and then what happens is when you build out that corkscrew, what is everyone wants to go to the city. So then what happens is all the arterial roads become blocked towards the centre, because everyone's like travelling in from that corkscrew. So what the best design principles in the world are to build from the inside out with density. Make the school 20% bigger, make the hospital 20% bigger that's already there in that infrastructure. Then it doesn't put that pressure on the roads because everyone's not trying to get into the middle of that corkscrew.
Yes.
So let's get this right on how these guys are thinking. They want density. So where are we going to find it, Xanth?
Well, we're going to find it in our own backyard, within the corkscrew. You don't need to go out. Keep it in your own backyard, and you can certainly find it close to shops, close to your job, within the area you're currently in right now.
So I guess what seems to be the thing is we've got our whopping big, massive unit blocks, and then we've got our quarter-acre blocks of land with houses on them, and we've sort of got nothing in between. So there's clearly a big void between the fat unit blocks, and there's clearly a void between the fat houses that are on big blocks, somewhere in between there. So tell me more, Xanth. Tell me more. What have you been researching?
Well, yeah, on November 27th, so what was that, 2 days ago, the government actually got together and they've released an article that highlights that they are rezoning a lot of that middleman criteria that you're talking about. So it's not apartment blocks, that quarter-acre block, and not apartments and not that housing block. They're looking at rezoning that lower density R2 zones so you can build townhouses, duplexes, and semis, or those walk-in flats, to generate more housing in what was previously unclassified for those particular houses. Like you weren't able to build these houses on this zoned lot.
So here's the tip for people that are watching. You may own this or you may consider buying this. When in any of the stuff that we've seen in the media lately, and certainly in the last 5 or 10 years, councils always like to build around transport. They always like to build around shops. And the reason why is there's also another design principle where it actually, if you are walking distance within a shop, you will stimulate the retail centre. So to give you an idea, when there was the parking stations designed to go into DY for the B line bus, where do you think they put the parking stations?
Of course, you're going to put it close to the arterial roads, close to public transport.
Close, but not too close.
Yeah, within walking distance.
Correct. So what they did is, instead of actually putting parking stations above or underneath or right next to the B line bus, they promoted a development of the parking stations to be 300 to 500 metres away. And then what everyone does is they get off the bus and they walk past the bread shop, they walk past the convenience store, they walk past the fish and chip shop, they spend their money. So the design principle of developing, 500 metres to a kilometre around shopping centres and around transport is massive. So guys, here's the nugget for today. Don't bank on it, but if you have the opportunity to buy one that is in 500 metres or a kilometre to a shop or a bus station, or the other one which is 3 kilometres away, go close to shopping precincts and go close to transport, because you may get an uplift based upon the principles we spoke about this morning. So that then means you may be able to build a home that you can sell in the backyard and pay off your mortgage. You may be able to build a couple of units where you presently are and pay off your mortgage. It may be a lottery win for you based upon the back of what we're telling you today.
It's really exciting. It's going to completely revolutionize, I suppose, the whole zoning thing, bring it up to the modern day standards, help solve that housing issue, get more semis, townhouses, those lower density blocks available to everyone. If you look at little suburbs like Wollstonecraft, Waverton, Erskineville, that do have those predominant semis and duplexes side by side, think of that but more modernized, and you'll be able to see that evolving more across the Sydney region. I think that's what they're trying to mimic, more of that style housing, to get more people living near their parents, near their families, rather than with their parents and with their family.
Yeah, like building 3-bedroom units is what Luke's saying. There's no incentives to do so at the moment. There's a huge market for that. It just seems like the world's full of 2-bedroom units, and that is it. 1-bedroom units are hard to find, 3-bedroom units are hard to find, but people with 2 kids or people with a kid working from home, the 3-bed is a corker. Now, before we go, I just want to highlight that if we do, the government does allow this sort of density around shopping centres in all suburbs and transport in all suburbs. If they allow the density that they're talking about, there's the potential for about 100 to 110,000 instantly there's the potential for about 100 to 110,000 homes in Sydney. So you may think that's a low number, but bear in mind these are promoting medium density more so. So
Yeah.
you turn one house into two houses, so it's not like there's 1,000 units.
Yeah.
So it's providing a hell of a lot of density. Some people are going to make some serious money, and I'm talking there could be 30 to 40,000 homes.
Oh, yeah.
Presently, they're going to make some serious money if some density gets allowed.
Well, yeah, if you have a house that can be rezoned and you can build a duplex there or a semi, think about that as a reselling value. You sell to a developer for X. You can absolutely make some serious money with these proposed changes. Massive Lotto win.
The Benjis. All right, Zan, thank you so much for the say. Anything else you want to add from your research done?
Why don't I see if I can share this article with everyone? I'll post it in one of the comments just so everyone can get a little bit more reading themselves.
Yeah, great. Luke's saying, will government tax uplift price in zoning change? Victoria are doing it. Yeah, look, maybe. I think they've got enough problems as it is. Bear in mind they're going to get the sales commissions when these properties sell. So if there's 100,000 properties selling, they're going to get the uplift in commission. But they'll probably whack a tax on us as well because they love it.
Probably. Let's not lie.
Let's
I'm
not lie.
just going to share this. Do you know how to share a PDF document?
No.
Nope, neither. But read into it. It is quite interesting. It will give you a lot more insight than we've quickly spoken about here this morning. It's certainly worth considering and worth doing for each local government. Currently, there are fewer than 6 governments within Sydney that would allow this kind of proposing and development. So certainly read into it.
Awesome. So, guys, there are your nuggets today from possibly getting an uplift or a lottery win on zoning in your house. And the key and the nugget is try to buy 500 metres to a kilometre to transport or in most part where shops are. You're going to get that uplift possibly.
Possibly.
Yeah. Thanks,
guys.
Imogen. See you, Zant. Bye-bye.